All right, guys. Tonight, we're diving into something crazy. Picture this. A small isolated town where every New Year's Eve, people mysteriously vanish, and no one ever talks about it again. What happens at midnight? No one knows for sure, but I'm about to tell you a story so chilling, it'll leave you questioning every shadow you see. Grab your popcorn, because this New Year's, you'll want to stay inside and never look outside at the stroke of midnight. Let's go. The midnight hour. New Year's Eve in Frosthaven was not a night for fireworks or revelry. In this snow-cloaked town, where shadows stretched long and the wind carried whispers, the holiday came with a solemn warning. Stay inside. Lock your doors. At midnight, don't look outside. Anna, a journalist from the city, had rented a cabin in Frosthaven for a quiet getaway. She needed a break from the chaos of deadlines and a messy breakup. The town's rustic charm seemed perfect until the locals' cryptic warnings began. Why midnight? Anna had asked at the general store. The old grocer froze mid-bagging, his face paling. "The midnight hour isn't kind to outsiders," he muttered. "Please, just heed the warning." Anna, ever the skeptic, dismissed it as small-town superstition. After all, every isolated town had its ghost stories. She intended to toast the new year with wine and laughter at the absurdity of it all. But as the snow fell heavier and the sun dipped behind the mountains, unease began to creep in. The whispered warning. By 6 p.m., the streets of Frosthaven were deserted. Anna drove back to her cabin, marveling at the eerie stillness. She hadn't seen a single car or pedestrian on the way. The cabin was cozy, a rustic retreat nestled against the forest. She lit a fire, poured herself a drink, and sank into an armchair. Yet, the grocer's words lingered in her mind. To distract herself, Anna opened her laptop and began researching Frosthaven. Articles about the town's peculiar traditions turned up little until she stumbled upon an old, archived piece titled "The Curse of the Midnight Hour." The story detailed a series of disappearances dating back to the 1800s. Every New Year's Eve, without fail, someone vanished without a trace. Witnesses described hearing whispers, seeing unnatural shadows, and feeling an overwhelming sense of dread. The article ended with a chilling line: "Those who disappear are never found." The midnight hour keeps what it takes. Anna shut her laptop, her pulse quickening. The first unsettling moment, at 9 p.m., the wind began to howl. The sound was low and mournful, like a distant wail. Anna tried to shake off the growing unease, turning on some music to drown out the noise. But then she heard the knock. It was faint, just a single tap on the window. Anna froze. The cabin was miles from the nearest neighbor, and the thought of someone being outside in the freezing cold sent a shiver down her spine. She approached the window cautiously and peeked through the curtain. Snowflakes swirled under the glow of her porch light, but there was no one there. Anna locked the doors and tried to laugh it off, but her hands trembled as she poured another drink. A visitor in the dark. At 10:30 p.m., Anna's phone buzzed with a notification. It was a message from an unknown number. "Stay inside. Midnight is coming." Her heart leapt into her throat. She tried to call the number, but it went straight to voicemail. Her attempts to text back failed. The messages wouldn't send. Anna paced the room, clutching her phone. She told herself it was a prank, a way to scare the city girl who didn't believe in local legends. But then the lights flickered. The fire sputtered, casting strange, twisting shadows on the walls. Anna grabbed a flashlight, her breath fogging in the now frigid air. A sound came from outside. Footsteps crunching in the snow. The countdown begins. At 11 p.m., the whispers began. They were faint at first, barely audible over the crackling fire. but as the minutes ticked by, they grew louder. Anna couldn't make out the words, but the voices sounded close, too close. She tried to drown them out with music, but her speakers emitted only static. The clock on her phone began to glitch, the numbers flashing erratically. At 11:30 p.m., she glanced out the window and froze. Footprints led from the tree line to her porch. They were fresh, the indentations sharp and deep, but there was no sign of anyone. Suddenly, the whispers stopped. The shadows arrive. By 11:45 p.m., the cabin felt alive with tension. The wind rattled the windows, and the fire burned low, despite Anna's efforts to stoke it. She sat in the corner of the room, clutching the fire poker. Her breathing was shallow, her heart racing. Then she saw it. A figure stood at the edge of the forest, barely visible through the snow. It was tall and thin, its form shrouded in darkness. Its head tilted as if it were watching her. Anna's flashlight flickered as she shone it toward the figure, but by the time the beam reached it, the shadow was gone. The midnight hour. At 11:59 p.m., the cabin went silent. The wind stopped, the fire extinguished itself, and the whispers ceased. Anna checked her phone. Midnight. The door slammed open with a force that sent snow scattering across the floor. Anna screamed as the figure stepped inside. It wasn't a man. Its body was fluid, shifting and writhing like living smoke. Its eyes glowed a sickly yellow, and its voice was a chorus of whispers. "Why do you resist?" it hissed. "The midnight hour comes for all." Anna swung the fire poker, but it passed through the creature harmlessly. The whispers grew deafening, filling the room like a storm. The figure extended a shadowy hand, and the room plunged into darkness. The aftermath. When the townsfolk ventured to the cabin the next morning, they found it buried in snow. The door was wide open, and frost covered every surface. Anna was gone. All that remained was her journal, open to a single page. In shaky handwriting, it read, "Don't let the midnight hour find you." The townspeople shook their heads, their faces grim. They knew the warning would go unheeded by the next outsider, as it always did. As they turned to leave, the wind picked up, carrying with it faint whispers. The shadows in the forest seemed to grow longer, reaching toward the town. Another year had passed, and Frosthaven's curse lived on.